we're talking to the men out there. What do you do if you find yourself interested in a trans girl? Don't overthink, get out of your head, and don't judge yourself.
Get to know that person.
Overanalyze any situation, it actually becomes a turnoff. We have to function and coexist amongst everyone else and figure out relationships too. It can really wear down on our self-confidence. It could really wear down on our social interactions even. You know, I know a lot of trans women who are afraid to have an active social life because of all that.
I'm afraid to go to strip clubs, and she knows that.
It's really interesting when a trans woman goes out, like she's really just wanting to have a good time, and why shouldn't she be included with the rest of the normal people who may decide to hook up after the club? Okay. So what do you do if you come home with a girl from the club who happens to be trans and you didn't know? I just feel like men should never overreact in that situation because it's not our fault. Don't fill your head with preconceived ideas of who trans people are, because it's not fair. It's not fair to a black person to treat them differently because you have an idea or a stereotypical idea of who black people are. It's the same thing with transgender women. Don't sit there and think that you know more about us than we do.
Does a guy who gets sex anally from a transgender woman, does that make him gay?
I used to be a very firm believer that dick in the booty equals gay. I used to think that way for a very long time, and I know that me and you may have conflicting views.
Correct.
But
I
also have come to believe that the male body has specific sensory areas. So for instance, gay men get turned on by anal sex or anal stimulation. The same thing goes for heterosexual men because they're men. You know, for the most part, women like their vagina played with. So it's sensitive. It's a sensitive area for all women, lesbian or straight.
I think that's, you know, our family, our culture, how we learn that putting the butt gay, but it's really not. It's just what you want. So do you think that on a heterosexual couple, if a woman put a strap on and penetrates her husband, they love each other and all that, and he just happened to tell her, you know what, I want to experience something, does that make him gay?
No, but I can tell you this, is that once men and women realize that sexuality is fluid and it has nothing to do with gender identity, this is where it gets tricky. Some women, I think, are fearful of to say, do I really want to open up this can of worms and let my husband know that if I stimulate his ass, will he go and try to find that somewhere else?
Thought about that. Yeah.
Because it does happen. It's welcoming in a lot of different things, and a lot of women, and I've learned this, and men do the same thing. A lot of people like to manipulate their partner. If they know that their partner is less smarter than they are, they will try to control and try to police anything that comes into their mind. You know, like, I don't want to give my girl this idea, or I don't want to let her know, you know, how to think smart this way because I want to keep them in a fantasy. So many people, that's what they do. They don't know how to take that.
It's not a black and white situation. In reality, you just have to be comfortable in your own skin. And to those men out there who are actually courage and brave to date transgender women, those men are actually more men than anybody. They're more secure with their own sexuality because they don't give a ass.